Zeno map from 1558 showed strange islands in the North Atlantic, Frisland, Icaria, and more. Explorers searched for them for centuries, but they never existed. So where did they come from? Some think it was a hoax. Others say misidentified coastlines were copied and reprinted across dozens of maps. These phantom islands made it into real navigation logs, sending ships in circles. Entire voyages were funded chasing fake land, a lie on paper that reshaped history. Please like and subscribe for more.
China, there's a city called Ordos Kangbashi, built to hold over 1 million people. Skyscrapers, stadiums, shopping malls, all ready. But no one came. At its peak, the city had fewer than 10,000 residents. Streets were empty, lights stayed off. It became known as a ghost city, a $160 billion gamble that never paid off. Why? Overbuilding, speculation, and poor planning. Developers hoped people would move in as the economy boomed, but prices were too high, jobs too few. It's not abandoned now, but still eerie. A modern metropolis that feels frozen in time. What happens when you build a dream city and no one shows?
In 2003, a massive Boeing 727 vanished from Angola's Luanda airport and has never been found. The plane had been grounded and stripped of identifying marks. One day, it simply taxied down the runway without clearance and took off. No transponder, no radio contact, just gone. The U.S. government launched an international investigation fearing a terrorist plot. But no wreckage, crash site, or confirmed sightings ever surfaced. The pilot and mechanic suspected of flying it were never located. Despite being a 150-foot-long jet, the plane completely disappeared. Was it stolen for illegal use, dismantled in secret, or hidden in plain sight? To this day, it's considered one of aviation's greatest unsolved mysteries. A plane too big to vanish, but it did.
Did you know that ancient Greece was home to a pantheon of gods and goddesses, each with their own unique stories and personalities? For instance, Zeus, the king of the gods, was known for his thunderbolts and numerous affairs, while Hera, his wife, was the goddess of marriage and often sought revenge on Zeus's lovers. Then there's Athena, born fully grown from Zeus's forehead, representing wisdom and warfare. And let's not forget about the fascinating myths surrounding heroes like Hercules, who completed 12 impossible labors, or Persephone, who spent half the year in the underworld explaining the changing season. These stories were not just entertainment. They were a way for the Greeks to understand the world around them, exploring themes of love, power, and morality. Ancient Greek mythology continues to influence our culture today, inspiring countless books, movies, and art. It's a rich tapestry of tales that reveals so much about human nature in the ancient world. Ever found yourself stuck on a question that everyone seems to ask? Let's dive into some of the most frequently asked questions. First up, how do I stay productive? The secret lies in setting clear goals and breaking tasks into bite-sized pieces. Next, what's the best way to learn something new? Embrace the power of curiosity. Try different methods, videos, books, or hands-on practice. And then there's the classic, how do I manage stress? Simple, prioritize self-care. Whether it's a walk, meditation, or just a good laugh, find what works for you. Remember, asking questions is the first step to finding answers. So keep questioning and keep learning. Direct impression. Directors are the visionaries behind the camera, orchestrating every element of the filmmaking process. They start by interpreting the script, breaking it down scene by scene, and envisioning how each shot will unfold. Casting is crucial. They seek actors who not only fit the roles, but can bring depth to the characters. During rehearsals, directors work closely with the cast, refining performances and ensuring emotional authenticity. On set, they collaborate with the cinematographer to craft a visual style, deciding on angles, lighting, and camera movements that enhance the story. Directors also communicate with the production team, from the art department to sound design, ensuring every detail aligns with their vision. They navigate challenges, making quick decisions to keep the project on track. Ultimately, a director shapes the entire film, transforming a script into a captivating experience that resonates with audiences. It's a blend of creativity, leadership, and a relentless pursuit of storytelling excellence.
Nero is infamous for cruelty, but one of his darkest acts came after the Great Fire of Rome in 64 AD. Blamed by the public, Nero needed a scapegoat and chose the Christians. He had them arrested in waves. Some were sewn into animal skins and torn apart by dogs. Others were covered in pitch, tied to poles, and set on fire, alive, to light his gardens at night. Guests watched as burning humans illuminated Nero's palace. He called it entertainment. Many historians believe this began the first great persecution of Christians. Nero didn't just kill, he made death a spectacle. His obsession with power, music, and control led to madness. Eventually declared an enemy of the state, Nero took his own life. His last words, "What an artist dies in me," a fitting end to Rome's most theatrical monster.
1887 in Atlanta, Minnie Winston stepped out of the shower and found her floor covered in blood, but not hers. The red liquid was oozing from the walls, floorboards, and baseboards. Police investigated and ruled it was real, human blood. But no crime had occurred, no one was injured, and there were no signs of forced entry. The blood matched no one in the house. The story was never explained, and the house still stands. It's become one of the strangest unsolved mysteries in U.S. history. Was it a prank, a leak, or something supernatural? No one knows, but it earned the name the Bleeding.
General Marcus Licinius Crassus was defeated by the Parthians in 53 BC. His death became the stuff of legend. Crassus was one of the richest men in history and part of Rome's powerful first triumvirate. But during the Battle of Carrhae, his forces were crushed. When captured, the Parthians mocked his greed by executing him in a brutal way, pouring molten gold down his throat. They said, "You wanted gold? Drink it." Some claim this is myth, but it fits Rome's dark view of poetic justice. Crassus had spent his life profiting from fire sales and enslaving debtors, building wealth by any means. His ironic death became a warning to all who let ambition blind them. Even in Rome, where power was everything, greed could still kill you in the end.
A train crashed in California, killing 25 people. Among them was a man named Charles Peck. Hours after the crash, his family got 35 missed calls from his phone. When they answered, they only heard static. His fiancée, son, and brother all received calls, but no voice. Rescuers used the pings to locate his body. He died on impact, so who or what was calling? The phone was never found. Some believe it was a signal error. Others think something else tried to reach out. Real or not, it left a lasting question. Can the dead reach out before we even know they're dead?
A woman in the UK woke up from a migraine with a Chinese accent, despite never visiting China or speaking the language. It's called foreign accent syndrome, and it's real. Fewer than 100 cases exist in recorded history. Victims speak their native language, but their accent shifts dramatically, sometimes sounding French, German, or even Jamaican. It's caused by brain damage, often from stroke or trauma, affecting speech patterns. But here's the weirdest part. Sometimes the accent doesn't even match any real dialect. It just sounds foreign. Doctors still don't fully understand how it works. Imagine waking up tomorrow and sounding like a stranger. It's one of the rarest and most unsettling conditions in neurology.
1872, a ship called the Mary Celeste was found adrift in the Atlantic Ocean. The vessel was perfectly intact, supplies were untouched, cargo was still on board. But the entire crew had vanished without explanation. There were no signs of struggle or damage. The lifeboat was missing, but no trace of it was ever found. Theories ranged from pirate attacks to sea monsters to mutiny, even alien abduction. But no theory explains why the crew left a seaworthy ship in the middle of the ocean. It remains one of maritime history's greatest mysteries. To this day, no one knows what happened aboard the Mary Celeste.
2014, scientists discovered the oldest known piece of Earth's crust, a tiny crystal called a zircon, found in Australia. It's 4.4 billion years old. That's nearly as old as Earth itself. The crystal formed just 160 million years after our planet was born, while Earth was still a molten ball being bombarded by asteroids. What's even more amazing? Chemical traces inside the zircon suggest it formed in the presence of liquid water. That means Earth may have had oceans far earlier than we thought, possibly even when the moon was forming. That tiny mineral, smaller than a grain of sand, holds secrets from a time before continents, life, or even oxygen. It's Earth's oldest surviving.
You ready? Let's go. Why medieval people slept twice a night. Did you know that in the Middle Ages, people didn't sleep in one long block? Instead, they practiced what's called biphasic sleep, 2 sleeps, split by an hour or 2 in the middle of the night. First sleep started at sundown. Then, around midnight, people would wake up for an hour or more. Some prayed, others read, talked, or, well, other things. After that, they went back for a second sleep until sunrise. This wasn't strange, it was normal, across Europe for centuries. So the next time you wake up at 2 a.m., maybe you're just medieval at heart.
1930, Canadian trapper Joe LaBelle arrived at the remote Inuit village of Anjikuni Lake, only to find it completely abandoned. Fires were still burning, meals sat uneaten, and sled dogs were found frozen in the snow. Even the graves were reportedly dug up and empty. No footprints, no signs of struggle. The entire population had vanished without a trace. LaBelle alerted the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, who allegedly launched an investigation, but found nothing. Some claimed strange lights had been seen in the sky days earlier. Others whispered about a supernatural force. But here's the twist. The RCMP later denied the incident ever happened. There are no official records. Most historians now believe it was a hoax, possibly invented or exaggerated by a sensational.
Far beyond our solar system, there's a planet called 55 Cancri that scientists believe is made largely of pure diamond. It's about twice the size of Earth, but much denser, thanks to a carbon-rich core under immense pressure. Temperatures on the surface reach 4,000 degrees Celsius, and it orbits its star in just 18 hours. The dazzling theory came when astronomers noticed its mass didn't match what they'd expect for a rock planet. Chemical analysis suggested it had way more carbon than Earth, enough to compress into diamond. If true, its value would be beyond comprehension, trillions of times Earth's entire economy. But don't start mining yet. The planet's too far away, too hot, and far too dangerous. Still, it proves the universe hides real treasures. Please like and subscribe for more.
The real reason Romans had public toilets. Ever wonder why ancient Rome had those massive public toilets? They weren't just about hygiene. They were political tools. Picture this: senators and citizens side by side. No stalls, just open seating, chatting about state affairs while taking care of business. Some of these latrines were decked out like fancy lounges, promoting unity and status among the people. And get this, they even shared a sponge on a stick for wiping. Rinsed between uses, or so they claimed. For Romans, toilets were social hubs, not private spaces. So, when you hear talking crap, it's a lot more literal than you might think.
Lies the Kola Super Deep Borehole, the deepest man-made hole on Earth, stretching over 7.5 miles into the planet. Scientists dug it during the Cold War to study Earth's crust. But eerie legends grew. Locals claimed to hear screams or strange noises from the depths. Some said the drilling reached hell. Of course, science says the sounds were just geological shifts recorded by sensitive instruments. But even scientists were shocked by the intense heat, over 180 degrees Celsius, and the discovery of microscopic fossils at extreme depths. The borehole was eventually sealed, but mystery lingers. Was it just science, or something strange? The Great Library of Alexandria was once the most famous archive in the ancient world. It held hundreds of thousands of scrolls, texts on philosophy, astronomy, medicine, and lost civilizations. But in 48 BC, during Julius Caesar's invasion of Egypt, fire from Roman ships spread and engulfed the docks, and possibly part of the library. Some records say the flames lasted 6 months. While scholars debate how much was truly lost, one thing is clear: it marked one of history's greatest intellectual tragedies. Priceless knowledge, gone forever. No backup, no digital cloud, just smoke. It's why modern historians still treat the library as a symbol of how easily progress can vanish. Imagine what humanity might have known if just one building had survived.
The Eiffel Tower actually grows in the heat. In summer, it can stretch up to 6 inches taller. How? thermal expansion. The metal in the tower absorbs heat from the sun, causing its iron structure to expand slightly. It's a perfectly natural effect, but one most people don't notice. Engineers take it into account to avoid damage or structural stress. At night, when the air cools down, the tower shrinks back to its original height. In fact, it doesn't just grow, it can even lean slightly during hot weather due to uneven heating.
Yamaguchi is the only officially recognized person to survive both atomic bombings in World War II. On August 6, 1945, he was in Hiroshima on business when the first bomb dropped. He was badly burned but survived. Just 3 days later, he returned home to Nagasaki. There, the second bomb hit. Miraculously, he survived again. Yamaguchi suffered intense injuries but lived to the age of 93. He later became an advocate for nuclear disarmament. His story isn't just a testament to luck, it's a haunting reminder of human resilience in the face of unimaginable destruction. Today he's remembered not just as a survivor, but as a symbol of how one man lived through history's deadliest days. A joke, but it's true. Napoleon Bonaparte, one of history's greatest military minds, was once defeated by rabbits. In 1807, he hosted a rabbit hunt to celebrate a treaty victory. His men gathered hundreds of rabbits in cages and released them all at once. But instead of running away, the rabbits charged at Napoleon and his men. Why? The organizers had mistakenly bought tame, farm-raised rabbits who thought the men had food. They swarmed Napoleon, jumping on him and his officers. The emperor literally had to flee the scene, laughing and dodging floppy-eared attackers. It's one of the strangest moments in military history.
During World War I, an entire battalion, the 1st 5th Norfolk Regiment, marched into the Gallipoli Hills in Turkey and never came back. Eyewitnesses claimed the unit walked into a strange, low-hanging fog. When the mist lifted, they were gone. No bodies, no equipment, no trace. British command called it a wartime mystery, and for decades, conspiracy theories flourished: UFO abduction, time warps, secret massacres. Eventually, bones believed to be from the regiment were found, suggesting they'd been killed and buried by enemy forces. But many still question how such a large force could vanish so completely. Was it misdirection, or something we still don't understand? It remains one of World War I's eeriest and most debated disappearances. Please subscribe and like.
Footage of the 1969 Apollo 11 moon landing? NASA lost it. In the early 2000s, researchers looking for the best quality version discovered that the original telemetry tapes had been erased and reused in the 1980s due to tape shortages. That's right, NASA taped over the first moon landing. The version we all know was actually recorded from a monitor and broadcast to TV, meaning it's lower quality. Later, Hollywood helped restore the footage using digital enhancement. But the original data, the cleanest direct from the moon signal, is gone. Not hidden, not classified, just overwritten by accident. It's one of the most embarrassing archival mistakes in scientific history. Even NASA can lose track of humanity's most iconic